Hey everyone, welcome. Thanks for coming into our live build session, a Tana live build session, which is our community program, and it's our 5th one. So we run these every 2 weeks, and this is our 5th one, which is a great achievement and awesome amount of registration. I think there was over 450 people who registered for this one. So very cool. So tonight we're going to have Mark building for us, and he's going to be building live. We're going to have Theo in here too in the chat, as well as jumping in, as well as me helping things move along as well. We have a particular format for these sessions, so some really strong constraints. We have 60-minute limit. We give Mark with Mark, we work up or talk through a specific workflow. Mark does it live in the sense that we start with a template, but he builds everything in Tana and shows what he's doing. And for those that are here, feel free to ask questions all the way throughout. Theo and I will be able to help you, as well as for those that aren't, the recording will be available. And if you need to go, feel free to, because we will send out the recording later. Today we're talking about the focus dashboard. We did think about calling this Tana bread and butter, but essentially it is a chance for us to talk to you about how Tana can help you get your life in order, more progress on the things that are important to you, as well as a general principle of progress. Mark, you got any quick intro about the things you're going to build tonight before I give you a particular problem to solve?
Yeah, I think I could demo maybe a pre-build I put together, kind of show what we're aiming for by the end of this.
Yep.
So I'll present this here. All right, so we got a focus dashboard. I will full screen this. So we've got an array of search nodes here. We got our daily agenda, all the tasks we have on hand, grouped by some different areas that we set for our tasks. So we got marketing and sales right now. We're displaying some dates here. And then maybe we want to filter show what does not have a schedule yet. I could drag that in my calendar if it's something I'm doing today, or I could go over to my weekly view and say, all right, maybe I want to do this Thursday, change my Friday activity to later in the day Thursday. We got an array of projects that can show me my completed routines for that project or tasks I still have to do related to that. Routines in the similar area of projects. Same sort of thing there. I can see what's completed, what I still have to do. I can look at my areas in the big picture, or I could zoom into each area, kind of see, all right, what are my OKRs? Nothing here in marketing. Over in sales, we got 5 million annual revenue, show some related projects to that, and can see what I completed during the week, wrap that all up in a weekly review, kind of say what went good, what went well, see what I got planned for the next week, see what hasn't been scheduled yet, and kind of repeat that cycle over and over where got tasks coming in, knock them out, schedule them, review them, plan for the next week, and iterate on top of that.
Very awesome. All right, Mark, before you start building, I'm going to take over the screen once more and just show you a challenge of my life. So I think I'm pretty representative of everyone here. I don't think I'm anything special, but I took the opportunity over the last 48 hours with this in mind to get a sense of kind of my information environment and the things that are coming at me every day. So this is just a small sample from work and the Tana community of things that have been asked of me, and where kind of I'm responsible for something specific or some action that needs to take place, and equally I'm probably handing out as many of these to other people, and this can be chaotic if it's not organized well, and clearly there are really strong demands in terms of information processing for me. So yeah, that is a small sample of my life at work, and then I did the same thing for my personal life at home, and I was surprised by just how much information I had to deal with and kind of coordinated in the last 48 hours or so. I got a few birthday parties, invitations for the kids. The mechanic of our car needed some help with a particular issue. My son's footy got cancelled. Some questions in relation to our house, as well as different things as well. So without a system for this, it can get really messy very quick. And I guess that's the challenge I'm going to put to you, Mark, is how can you help me?
Right on. Sounds like a fun challenge. So I will pull up my screen again. And I think great thing about Tana is that you could build from the ground up. So simplest way to do that, we'll just start with a task list, a to-do list. So I'll make a search node, make a task. I'll just say, that's my to-do list. And now I could just add anything in here. So maybe I got a, schedule one-on-one. I got a team meeting coming up. Maybe we got a new project proposal. Typing. And maybe we got some personal tasks in there as well. So we got to drop kids off at gym practice. And maybe we got a date night coming up as well. So we got some tasks on hand, simple plain list, something you could do in any notes app. And now we get some layers on this. So a concept I'm going to be kind of reiterating throughout this is one is like thinking in dimensions and also filters and funnels. So right now we just have a task list. We don't have any dimensions to it, but I think the most obvious dimension we could look at to organize our lives by is time. So we'll go in here, we'll throw in a system date field, and actually I'll go into the content template and add this in. And as a precursor, we'll be moving pretty fast through this stuff. We'll slow it down in some future sessions, but for now,
we also got a question that the template will be available after, right? So we'll share this available for people to follow along later.
Yep. Yeah, and with that template, there'll be some extra goodies that I might not have time to go through here today. Recommend putting that in a separate workspace, but we'll touch on that at the end. Cool. So I added this date field in our task template. So now it applies to all of our tasks. And I could go in here and change this view, but I like this list view. So what I'll do is I'll duplicate this to-do list and
Mark?
I'll change the view. What's up, man?
Could you just zoom in a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
And also I have one question we can take at the same time. Luke is asking why use a search node here?
Ooh, yeah. So that's a good question. I prefer this session. I want to build outside of the frame of time. So we do have daily notes here. So anytime I create a node, it's going to show up on my daily notes. And we're going to make some changes to this, maybe have like another inbox or a place where you could send tasks that pull up. But for me, it starts to add some clutter here that maybe I don't want to see all at once. So I'm going to choose to create this session here within this focus dashboard. So if I create anything within a search node, it'll send that to the day page. It kind of goes back to the idea of filters and funnels. If I could create something anywhere, and it's going to, as I'll show later, maintain the boundaries of the search node. So it's a really useful way, instead of going in and manually adding things like time and some of the other categories we'll get to, search nodes are a really unique way to automatically apply whatever boundaries you have already set on that search node just by either hitting enter to create a new task, or you can hit the little plus button here and that'll create a new task within that as well. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna say this is my day calendar, and I'll go in here and change this to a calendar view. And I'll toggle that over to day. And we don't have anything in here yet. So what I could do, I could start dragging in tasks directly from my to-do list into my day calendar. And we can see if I expand, it's going to update the date directly in here. I could choose to update the date from within the calendar node as well. So let's say this is at, 5 a.m. I hit OK. And there we see my new project proposal popped up. But already, I'm not really liking how I got this list up here and I collapse and expand this and it's putting my day calendar down below. So what I'm going to show here next is a pretty cool feature that you can access on tags. If I go back to my day page here, this is already built in to the tag, and this is called related content. So it's essentially a search node that lives in a slightly different user interface. So if I go to the day tag here, you can scroll down to the bottom, advanced options, and I could see here is a search node for open tasks in my related content. So again, it's just a query for tasks not done. And I'm going to close out of that, go back to my focus dashboard. And what I can do here on any node, because in Tana, everything's a node, Command K, configure node. Within this menu, I've got related content for my focus dashboard node. So what I can do is take my to-do list, drag it right in there. And now, instead of my to-do list moving my calendar around, I could just drag items in, collapse my to-do list, and see what I have scheduled for today. And additionally, I could go in and, maybe I want to just toggle day, week, month within a single search node. In my personal setup, I like to split them out a little bit. So I have like a week calendar, which is the exact same search node here. I just toggle that over to week. And today, no, what's up with the time? Oh, my time is a little bit earlier. So we see this is scheduled right now from 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. full day cycle. That's a bit too much. I don't want to see all that. So I go in here, change the day length. Let's just do some working out. We'll go 9 to, I don't know, what's that, 8, something like that. Cool. So we're already starting to filter some tasks by time. So that's kind of one dimension we could look at here with starting to narrow down your focus on what you need to do. But I don't like how this to-do list is kind of staying static. So what I could do here is copy that to-do list, paste it down here, maybe duplicate it, and I could add this filter to here and say, I want to show tasks where the date is not set, so I know what hasn't been scheduled yet. And then maybe additionally, I want to change my to-do list to only show things that are set. So I could say date set. So now ABC XYZ will not show up in my to-do list. So this is, rename this not scheduled. I go back in here, configure node, and drag that not scheduled right in my related content. So now I've got really simple planning by time. So I go check out the day, check out the week. I know XYZ is not scheduled yet. I'll drag it in here. It updates ABC. Maybe I want to do that Friday. I don't know what time yet. Shows here. Additionally, I can go up to my to-do list and display the date right underneath, or I could go into grouping and display by date there as well. So it's going to show just a slightly different view of like what's due each day going forward.
Great, Mark. We've got a few questions in the chat. It's actually a little bit hard to keep up with them as they're flowing in. So maybe we it's done a good job there. Perhaps one just small one. Can you set the hours of the calendar to show specific windows? Like Laurie is saying, don't need anything at 2 a.m.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll re-go over that. So in the settings menu here, if we go to day length, we can apply. Is it like, you want 2 a.m. You go say, I want to start the calendar at 8 and only go until 16. So it's only going to show a collapsed view here. Versus maybe for my week calendar, I want a more expanded hourly, or I could remove time entirely. So I could take day length, 0000, and now it's only showing me something that's scheduled for the whole day. So if I have an hour set on a task, it's not going to show up. As we can see here, it's possible to set date frames by time, by the specific time, an entire day, or even an entire week. So if I change this here, we can see do ABC just expanded across that entire weekly time frame.
Great. Let's keep moving. One from George here. Just some advice about using a separate personal workspace or working to different workspaces. And if you did, would you need multiple focus dashboards? I'll find the advice. Darren put a great post on this about working in the community, wrote a great post about the difference between working in different workspace and advice on that. But what about, would you need different focus dashboards, or could you allow content from, would you want to perhaps just give a overview of that?
Yeah, so we got a cool feature here where if I go into my main node, so I clicked up in the top there and go to my options, there is allow content from, and we can see the Tana build sessions. So this other workspace where I build the pre-drafts out. If I select allow content from, I can now see like this task focused dashboard is what I built in the other workspace. So now I'm able to call other tags and nodes from other workspaces that I have access to through this allow content from. Now it can be a little tricky sometimes understanding which task belongs to which workspace. And I think if you're working with teams as well, we recommend using shared workspaces for that. But if it's more just your own individual life and you have different components, there's a mixed opinions on that. Darren prefers separate workspaces for each area of life. Me personally, I keep all my stuff, whether it's workout or work related things, in my own home node. So there's kind of different approaches, not necessarily right or wrong, but there's different nuances that if you have questions along the way, definitely drop them here, or going forward, we got our Tana Slack channel that you can go in and get people's opinions on how to build stuff out if you hit roadblocks along the way.
Okay, let's keep going. The questions are still coming in, which is awesome. And Theo and I will try and work through them as you keep building, Mark. I don't want to slow you down too much as we've got a time zone, but awesome questions. And we'll, whatever we don't cover, we'll get to it after as well. But keep going, Mark. Let's go.
Cool. So as I said at the start, some things I want to reiterate here is this idea of thinking in dimensions and filters and funnels. So right now, we really only have maybe 1-2 dimensions on here, really just one, and that's time. But there's many dimensions we could apply to thinking about what we have to do in our lives. And I think the next most obvious one that is touched on by like Tiago Forte, August Bradley, Para, Pillars, Pipelines, Vaults, is areas. So we have different areas that we want to categorize our life by. So we could go in here to our task. I'll add a field for area. And I think, so I got the old one there. So I'm going to go back, and for now, I want to remove this allow content from, because I don't want it to clutter up my view when I'm building this. So I'll open up this area. I'll say options from super tag, and maybe I'll do that again. I'll make a search node here. Hashtag area, call that areas, select area here, and now maybe we've got product, let's come on the toggle box, sales, marketing, and maybe we'll do family life in there as well. So now I got some areas, and I could select, let's say I got to schedule one-on-one, that's with the product team, the team meeting. Oh, I didn't apply this area tag to the task tag, this area field, so I can Command K, add to template. Now it's going to show up on all my tasks. Team meeting, let's say that's for the sales team. Project proposal, call that marketing, and then kids and date night, I could select both those. Command K, love this feature, talked about it in some previous sessions. I could say set, and then it's going to find any area or any field I have within that node. So I got set area, and I can select family, and it automatically applied those areas to those tags. So come up here, collapse all, just to shrink. Oh, maybe I got to go a layer down. Collapse. Oh, it doesn't like it on that level. Darn. Okay, so we'll shrink these. 1, 1. We got our XYZ tomorrow. And so right now I've got time displayed twice. I got time displayed below and I've got it grouped by time as well. But maybe I want to display by the area. So I can see below each task what area this item belongs to. Or I could flip it up and let's say I want to group by the area. So now I've got a rough idea of what task belongs to what area. I can go in and display the time again underneath. So kind of depending what filter you want to apply to this, you get a broad overview of what's going on in your life by areas and time here. And what's cool is I can go within one of these areas. If I hit enter within this search, it should, yeah, so it applied the product area to this. It didn't apply the date there because we just have it set. There's no specific date which it should be set by. If I set this to today, then anything created within here would automatically have the today date applied to it. So I needed to add that to make sure this didn't disappear. But product, maybe we got to upgrade features on something. And cool. So we got some more dimensions that we're filtering by, but it's starting to clutter up a bit. It's a little too big picture. So maybe I just want to see actions that apply to a specific area. And there's a couple ways we could do this. One is I could just go into my area tag, make a search node for task, say area belongs to parent. So it's going to apply the parent, which is product in this case. Could run that. It's going to show me my tasks that belong to the product stuff. So I'll say just related tasks. And K, add that to template. So now it's going to apply to all my areas. If I click on my area tag, see all these. So I can see family, got related tasks, what I have to do here. Sales, related tasks, what I got to do there, and so on. But if I want to do this within the context of my focus dashboard, this is a pretty cool feature that actually, it was a question that came up in Slack last week that I figured, oh, let's throw this in the demo today. So what we could do is, as I said, everything's a node. So we can add a field to this node, even though it's not a super tag, and I could add the areas field to my focus dashboard. And I can create another search here. So let's say I want to do a to-do list. So I'll just copy that, duplicate it, delete the reference, and maybe I just want to say area specific to-do list. What I could do here is open this up, bring that area tag back in, and now I want to call this area field. So it's not parent, because the parent of this search node is the focus dashboard. We have some dot parameters here which allow us to call fields. So if I hit dot period, I could type in area, and now it's going to look within that area field, which is blank right now, so it's not going to grab anything. And if I select this and say product, I can now show just the product tasks within this search node. And to take it a step further, so we got area specific to do. Again, this will now update anytime I change this area field up top in my focus dashboard. I can come over to configure my focus dashboard, come into my related content, drag this in here, and I could say that I don't, and I'll have to change grouping for this. This is a little paper cut nuance here, but I have to turn off grouping for a second. So I'll clear that, clear that, clear that, and I'll do Command K, add contextual content. And that means this is a filter that's only going to apply to the search node as it lives right here. If I copy this out here, the contextual content won't apply to this reference. Getting into some little bit of upper level stuff here, so I could review it after if needed. But I'm going to add in what's called a node filter, which says what situations is this node allowed to appear. And I'm going to say I don't want this node to appear unless that area tag is set. So now I've got marketing. I can see my area specific to-do list. If I remove this, that related content just disappeared because of that contextual node filter that we have on here. So I go back in, I can add family. Now I see my area specific to-do list for family. And then maybe, again, maybe I want to reduce my, the things in my field of view. So maybe I don't want this massive, like all areas to-do list to show up when I have a field set. So I can do the exact opposite of what I did before there. I go back into configure node. And for my, let's say, global to-do list, again, I have to remove the filters for now, little paper cut. Hide that for now. I'll go add contextual content here. Node filter and area. Excuse me. And for this one, I'm going to do the exact opposite. So @ symbol, not set. So now, if the area is set, it's only going to show the area specific to-do list. If it isn't set, it's going to show my global to-do list. I can throw those groupings back on here, group by area, display the date. Maybe I also want to add a filter there or a sort. So it's always going to show the most recent or the most upcoming to do within there. I guess it's not doing that for the not defined. I got to switch it up. No. Whatever. Cool. So now we've got another, going back to that thinking by dimensions, we've got multiple dimensions here with which we can look at our to-do list. We've got areas and we've got time. And we go further along those too. Some people prefer to have sub areas. One we could go into is projects, which again, you're kind of thinking of these like pillar hierarchy funnels of, categorization could be area, routine, project, task, note. And then time, obviously we have hour, time block, day, week, month, year. We could also add people in here. So we can have a field for, who owns a task or what team owns a task. And the more we add these different fields in here, the more we can funnel what we're working on at any given time. So again, if in my day-to-day life, maybe I just come in here and I just have new stuff, I can just throw it right in this not scheduled. And let's say, I don't know, I got to do, find a new client. And now, I'm going to do that this time. Maybe I want to add another search because I just, set the dimension for time, but I want to show maybe anything that doesn't have an area set to it yet. So I could take that global to-do list, duplicate that again, and say, area not set. Or actually, I think it'll already show up. Yeah, it'll show up in my not defined. But if I wanted to make that a separate search, I could go in and say area not set. Change my query up a bit. So that's date set, area not set. Cool. A cool one here is we have a card feature. So we could view as cards. And then I think we might have to add the areas first. Let's see. So if I do set area to product, great. So it disappears right away. So there's a little trick to this. I think if I get rid of that not set, so now it shows all of my all my areas as a card list. Now, if I change that back to not set, I believe that'll stay. Nope, doesn't quite stay. Theo, you have any thoughts on that? I think there's a way to do it, but can't recall off the top. Oh, maybe it's in the grouping.
Yeah, try the grouping.
Interesting. Yeah, I might have to go just say set area product.
Yeah.
And then when new ones come up, even if I clear that.
So now the search is looking for area not set, right?
Yeah.
Filter
I thought I have
out.
it set up in a way that filters out, though. Maybe it's a different function there where like you could drag it into different card views. Maybe it's filter actually that does it. So if maybe I remove that. So now show all my areas and I go to filter and say area not set. Hey, all right, cool. So I can shrink that over here. And now if I want to just quickly set my area, I could drag a card over to family. Now it's going to disappear due to the filter that I have on here. Okay, it's a good little nuance there. Clean up. Cool. So now I've kind of got a, I think of it kind of like a Plinko board or a funnel where I could say, all right, I have something not scheduled. I could throw it in here, schedule it, and then it'll show up here and I could set the area. And then once the area is set, I could jump into, either directly into one of my product areas and look at, what's the schedule for things here. I could look at it as a table. I could look at it as like that calendar view that we showed before. And yeah, I'm taking kind of this whole broad, as Matt showed at the beginning, just all this different information that's coming through, just adding a couple dimensions. And really, we only have two here. We have time and area. And we're already starting to narrow our focus in on what we can work on at any given time.
Awesome, Mark. Yes, making progress. We got 25 minutes left, so a lot of different questions coming in the chat as well, just from different things. Luke was interested in routines that you've mentioned at the start. I don't know if we'll have enough time to cover that, or do you think we'll get to it?
Yeah, I could talk about it a little bit conceptually here. So, there's lots of different ways to think about this whole knowledge management, life operating system type of stuff. And I've kind of taken bits and pieces from different popular ones for myself. And GTD maybe touches on this a little. But for my system, the only thing I can do is a task. And then I personally have set up a single field along with area that I call project/routine. And for me, a project or routine is a collection of tasks. And I can't do the project or routine, but I can complete it. And the only difference for me for a project and a routine is that a project is done, it can be completed, versus the routine is occurring. And that's something I actually added within the pre-build here is some features that I won't have time to build here, but I can add them in as in the template when I release this. But I love this little command that I've built in my own system called instance, where it does this Tana paste to create a task related to that routine. And it's kind of just like a fun little button that I like. I could go in and we have related tasks here. And this should just be task with the field project routine set to parent. And I could add any new task right in here, and it's going to automatically have that project set in its field. But I like this little this instance button. So if I'm in my daily agenda I'll come over here and hit instance. I think I also have it set up on mine so it sets the current time. So it would plug it in a new task related to that project or that routine right in my calendar. So yeah, as I said at the start of this, is like you could really build up from the ground and add little tweaks and things that are going to automate and save time to your own personal preferences as your Tana system evolves.
Awesome. A few questions quickly on tasks as well. The first one, I'll just ask from Sai, I think it is. And what's your criteria for how large or small a task as a task in Tana?
Yeah, my personal approach is just what can I get done within some period of time during the day. So yeah, like if it could be like an all day multi-hour task, another cool thing with the calendar is you could just drag around, hit the little slider at the bottom to kind of reset the time. But yeah, if it's something that's going to extend multiple days, that's where I'll think of classifying a project. And again, projects and routines for me, they're set up really similar to how I have the area set up, where it's going to show what belongs to it. So like you could think of this pretty much exactly how I have my projects or areas or projects or routines set up, where it's just a search node within there that's looking for, instead of the area field set to parent, it's project or routine set to parent. And then another thing I like to do is I have a completed. So that's actually another dimension we haven't talked about yet, which is actually a pretty obvious one in hindsight. Is it done or is it not done? So maybe I could move into that next. It's a good segue here. So I could throw in task, and I could just say all capital letters done. And now if I say ABC is done, it'll show up here. But I also want to make sure I get the area parent for that. And I'll call this completed tasks. Add that to the template so it shows up in all my areas. And now I could go into sales, say I completed this team meeting. That's now going to show up here, but it didn't apply to the related task. It's still there. So maybe I want to set this query to done, or yeah, I want to show things that are not done, actually. Sorry. So if I run that query, removes it there. Command K, update search node. There's a big one here. I'll zoom in to show the importance here. This can trip some people up. So right now I made a change to the related tasks search node within my sales area. This did not apply to the related tasks within my family or any of my other areas. So what I could do, if I make a change on an instance, I have to run Command K, update, search node on tag, and refresh all instances. I click that. Now I go into family, and it's not showing that completed task anymore. It'll only show what hasn't been done yet. Additionally, you could go right into your tag and make changes here to your queries. And a thing to note from here is if you already created a tag instance, if I already created an area, for example, if I change this back to like not done here, it didn't change my completed tasks over here. So I have to do the same thing, but it's a different command. It's refresh. So instead of update and refresh, we don't need to update the super tag anymore because this is the super tag template, but we do need to still refresh the search node on all instances. I don't really want to do that for this one, so I want to keep these the tasks that are done, but now I can show again, nothing showing up here, or it is showing up there. Interesting. All right, but let's do Command K, refresh. Great. So now it refreshed all those to keep them on track with the template that I want applied to all my future and past super tags.
Okay, fantastic. Just some quick questions, just generally on the behavior to make this work. So what does it need from the user or from me, in my case, to make this kind of system work? I guess it's at the baseline, just the behavior or habit of recording my tasks and setting them up, or any advice on that?
Yeah, so I think what we're demonstrating here, and we could do kind of the other direction in a future live build, but we're really going bottom up. So to start, all you really need to do is have a task list. You can keep it super simple, like I started, just a task tag, add a date field in here, and now I got, I could capture anything that's not scheduled yet, just like top of mind stuff. I could do this directly from mobile as well. I just open up the task tag, either type in what I want to do or record a voice memo, and it'll show up in my not scheduled if it doesn't have a date yet. And that kind of starts that top of funnel, where if you want to add in a filter to show, as I said here, like, what area does something belong to, I could add a search node for just tasks that are due this week, or whatever parameters. You could start to add those over time as you need them, or you could remove them over time as you need them as well. Tana is a super flexible system that really allows that kind of grassroots bottom-up approach to knowledge management. So yeah, as far as habits, just start to write things in Tana, tag them as a task, and start to think about that thinking in dimensions of what is important to your life. And I think broadly, again, we got areas, we got time, we could go into projects, we could go a layer above areas and add life goals, or aims or OKRs, like we touched on a little bit in the last live build.
Excellent. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, there's quick add as well, obviously, Command E, which is really fast, an easy way to throw something up. If you want
to say, task, do this thing, Command E, bam, shows up right there. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah. All right, so we've got about 15 minutes left, and want to leave some time for any questions or a bit of a quick wrap up. So, all right, say we've been doing this for about a month, or around that time zone. You've been diligently recording a task. You've kind of any opportunity to write down a task, you throw it into Tana. What's the point of it, or what does it give you that you wouldn't otherwise have?
Yeah, I think. Oh gosh, what's that quote? Something, the unexamined life. We're really able to, there's limits to it too. Maybe you don't want to track everything in Tana, or at least everything to start. But as you look back over time, you can see, all right, where did I spend my time? I think I might have, I don't know if I showed it here. I showed it in a little trick on Slack where we could add emojis in here based on what area we have set. So you could quickly look at your last week and say, all right, where did I spend my time? I can even go in here with this completed task, and again, group that by area. And it's like, okay, I did something for product, family, and sales, but I don't think I have anything for marketing in here. So maybe if I'm doing a weekly review, I could hop over into my calendar, come up here to the week, and I could add a tag here for weekly review. And say, I can do that same thing where I just have tasks done, and maybe the date is set to, in this case, it would be grandparent. So the grandparent, so this search node here completed this week. The parent of the search node is the actual weekly review node. The grandparent is week 39. So we could filter by things that are done this week. So that'll show up there. And maybe I want to add that to the template. Maybe I want to add in a field of just, again, start simple, just a simple text field. What went well? And maybe what needs improved. Add that to the template. Add that to the template. And yeah. More marketing stuff. I could throw in a search node for tasks, date, overlaps, date set to grandparent +1. So now the grandparent +1 See here, that's week 40, so that's next week. It's going to show anything that overlaps there, and I want to say, things that are not done yet. And so this is next week tasks. Let's see if I create a search node right in here. Yep. So we got that's set to week 39. And start new marketing campaign. Great. So that is now set. If I go back to my focus dashboard, I could look at my week schedule. Well, I didn't get applied to next week. Oh yeah, I think we hit this the other day. A little hiccup with the search node there, but same thing still applies there. If you can go into your weekly review, it could be a monthly review, and I could add this search node here to the template for my week. Just move this right in there. So now I got a, let's see, is that in there? Yeah. Completed this week. If I go to next week, now I've got a new weekly review in there. That'll pull in anything that is set for week 40. And additionally, I can come into my weekly review, tag configuration, go into my, was it the bottom here? Yep, build title with fields in. I don't just want to leave that a blank node. So I could say, what did we got? Sys owner. There's a lot of little nuances here with expressions. So you could click on learn more about title expressions to figure out kind of which secret combination gets you what you want here. But the owner of this weekly review, just like parent, is week 40. So I got it in there, and I could just say sys owner review. So that's going to show up here, and that now applied to week 39 review as well. If I want, I could go back to my focus dashboard, and I could throw in a search node that grabs me whatever weekly review for relative date this week. Oh, I got to throw that in a date field. Date, maybe, or calendar, date from calendar node. That'll do it. There we go. System field, because I never added the date field to my weekly review. There's no date field here for it to pull from, but we have system fields that are in the background of all nodes, because again, everything's a node. So we got date from calendar, we have created time, we have done time. So we're tracking a bunch of system fields in the background. So I'll switch this over for relative date, looking at the date from the calendar node, remove that there, run it, and we're still not getting it. Why is that? Theo, thoughts?
Hmm.
Come
Yeah,
in
I'm not
here and
sure.
say date from calendar node. That's week 39. That's week 39. Relative date this week. No spelling error. Oh.
Yeah.
Search node. Good times. All right. Sweet. So now we have current weekly review. So I'll close that out here. And something to note about some of this time stuff here. So we've got, for example, completed this week, as I showed pretty quick earlier, is that we're pulling from that grandparent where this lives. So that's a specific week node. So that'll stay consistent. But for relative date, and we have a whole bunch you could do for relative date today, for relative date tomorrow, for relative date this month. I think it might be in the operators. It's definitely on our Tana docs and our little Tana AI helper here. This gives you the current time right now. So it's not static. It's always moving. So as soon as it becomes next week, this search node would change to week 40 without me doing anything here. Yep. So yeah, we're closing in towards the end here, but just to do a little wrap up. or kind of where we came to here is that now we've got this weekly review that feeds into what we're going to do next week. And again, we have some different filters and funnels here. So we have time, category, said person, we could do done, we could do a status field as well. Like if we don't want to just do done and complete, or not done and done, we could say in progress. We could do, on hold by making this into an options field here. So I won't go into that too much right now. So we got these different categories with which we can focus on what we have to do this week. Mark it off the list as it comes through. It's going to show up in our completed tasks. We can kind of see, again, by applying those filters, all right, what did I get done this week for the different areas of life or different projects or different life goals that are important to me. I could check that out in my weekly review, say what went well, completed new website page, more marketing stuff, schedule what's going on next week, and iterate that over time, expand from weekly review to monthly or quarterly or yearly review, and expand the funnels or these filters by which you're looking at your tasks kind of organically over time as well.
A question in the chat from Andre is just, what do you mean by funnels, Mark, relative to filters? I think that's just your expression about where the information is getting routed, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I have the different filters set up on my search node. So again, this filter here is a date not set. And if I, get rid of that, go look at my global to-do list, I could change this to only show, it already is only showing things that have a date set to them. So as soon as I come in here and set this date to tomorrow, this filter is automatically going to funnel this task to the next kind of focus panel, search node in this case, that I set up. So that's how I'm thinking about the filters and funnels. The filter is the parameters applied to your search node, and the funnels is kind of like you could set up a series of search nodes with progressing filters to narrow in your focus.
Incredible. Agree that that's certainly part of it. And yeah, some good feedback on the weekly review from, I think that was Cynthia, saying she was doing hers a lot more in a manual way. Yeah, I agree. If it all just shows up at the right time, it makes it very easy to do the review. And that's kind of one of the hardest bits of doing the review is actually organization. So having it all in place, ready to go, makes such a big difference.
Definitely.
Great. We've got a few minutes left. Mark, awesome. You've been able to get through most of it in good time. So awesome work. Any other questions, feel free to add them in the chat and we'll try and get through them in the last few minutes.
Well, I guess, touching on what I mentioned at the beginning of this, I will have the focus dashboard here. The template for the pre-build, I guess I could call it that, focus dashboard, pre-build. So it's a little messy. There's as we build, you can refine it over time, but things are kind of scattered all over the place compared to like some of our templates within the template store. Theo spent a lot of time fine tuning those. Those are a lot easier to add directly into your existing system. Whereas with this, my recommendation would be when you click open in Tana, when I share this link with you all, you could select what workspace you want it to show up on. So if you don't already have a second workspace, you go into manage workspaces, hit create new workspace. And then when you add this template, I'd select that secondary workspace. So it doesn't crowd up your main stuff. The tags aren't going to interfere, but you can go through here and kind of pick and choose. Maybe you just wanted to see how I set up the this instance command here within the project menu. Right there's where it lives. And you want to kind of just study that Tana paste format to kind of hack around instead of having to go in and open up your task to add things there. So yeah, there's some little things like that here. There's also one of my favorites. I added some time commands. So when I'm working in my focus dashboard, I don't want to go in and, click and manually change the time, or sometimes I don't want to even like open up my week and drag it from one to the next. I set up some quick Command K commands where if I go in here, I can get Command K tomorrow, and it's going to set the date to tomorrow. I could say yesterday, I could say today, I could say next. Oh, do I not have next on here? That must be in my personal one. I have next week. Next, I think, or now. No, now's not there either. Darn. I might have to update this before I pass it on to y'all. But, oh yeah, it's there because it just didn't apply. You could set in custom time commands to quickly, shift those times around. You could put them as buttons as well directly on your nodes. So if you it's like, all right, I want to do this in the next hour, you could set this now command within your task node. So you just click it or put it in a menu. Yeah, so there's lots of little shortcuts that you could add into your system over time. That'll be included in this template.
Yeah, amazing. A lot of customization. That's kind of the power of Tana too. Once you start to really understand your workflows, you can really optimize them for use. Hey, Mark, can you quickly, I don't know if you're in release mode, but just the question mark on the top right, we've got a few questions in the chat that we probably won't be able to get to. And I just want to give a bit of a shout out to Emmanuel's AI helper. We've built a AI helper for the docs, which means that you can write any question into the AI chat and it will search our docs and give you an appropriate answer. So some of these questions that we probably haven't covered might be better suited to that for any as a first pass, and we'll try and get to all the other ones in the chat later.
Yep,
awesome.
Yep. Yeah, highly recommend this as a first pass for anything you have. As I mentioned that for relative date before, right away it's got us the different options we could do to filter our searches by, and it'll link here directly to the docs where that lives. So if you hit a stumbling block after here, definitely come on the Tana Slack, shoot us an email at help@tana.inc, and we'll help you get it sorted out if the AI chat isn't quite there yet. As everything AI related, it's there, not quite taking all our jobs just yet, but soon enough maybe.
Yes, enough. Awesome. Okay. The other question is, where can we see the previous sessions? They've been released in the Slack. We've always put them up in the announcements, Mark, and they're on YouTube as well. So we're probably getting to a point where we should put them all up on the Tana Inc. website at central locations. But yeah, check them out in the Slack as well, and we'll release this one pretty soon to all who attended today.
Yep. Yeah, definitely look for it in the next day or two. I'll post it both on Slack, and everyone that signed up for this Luma event, you'll get a direct email with the recording of this video as well as the template.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you all who attended. And next up, we've got Theo, who's going to announce a new event tomorrow. So look out for the announcement for that, where we can deep dive on particular features. And we'll do that recurring as well every 2 weeks. So just to finish off, a big thank you to Mark, who did an awesome job building and exploring with us and giving you a sense of what Tana can do. And thank you to all for attending. Hope you have a good day or good night, and see you in the next one. We do this every 2 weeks. So more than welcome back. Okay, thanks, guys.